Welcome to the Art of Being You podcast. This is day 5 of my challenge. The shame of addiction is our topic today. I drank to fill a hole. I drank to socially fit in. I drank when I was bored. I drank when I celebrated. I drank when I was angry. I drank when I was upset. I drank when I was happy. I drank when I was on vacation. I drank at home. I drank at pubs and stayed in them sometimes for 12 hours at a time. Drinking, playing darts, flirting, writing, drinking. I drank at weddings and funerals. I drank at concerts and backyard parties. I started drinking when I was 14 or 15, harmlessly out with friends at the roller rink or at someone's house. I would love to say that I drank out of societal pressure to do so, but it was normal where I grew up to drink alcohol in pretty much every situation. I remember there were a few older gentlemen, some would call them bums, who would, for an extra 6-pack, buy underage kids a case of beer. If you grew up in the 80s in rural America, this was normal. I can recall that I loved drinking. I loved the way that it made me feel free, as if I was up for anything. It's like it gave me wings to fly, and I no longer felt alone, afraid, or separate. It was as if it helped me feel popular, and I craved attention so much, and I loved it all. My senior year of high school, I had been elected student council president. I was also captain of the varsity football cheerleading squad. I had mediocre grades, except in art, and I was on track to go to art college. The first morning of school, senior year, my high school classmates and I, met up on the hill to drink before school. Fun, right? When we reached school that morning, I was immediately pulled into the principal's office, being scolded for setting a bad example. Student council president doesn't do things like that, and that I should be ashamed of myself. This isn't a memory that I think of often, but for the sake of this healing exercise, I wanted to go there. I had already felt body shame from developing before my peers. The attention I craved I wasn't getting at home, and I felt guilty for asking for it and making some bad choices with friends and boys. I was now on probation from all of the activities that made me feel bigger than my little life. At the time, I ignored and denied the fact that I was in deep pain from not getting what I truly needed, or not knowing how to go about getting it. Drinking had always caused me problems. I drank the younger part of my life away, hoping that it would fill the holes I had in my emotional self-love bucket. Never once did it support me in a healthy way. I no longer drink, nor do I blame the alcohol, and I see that what I was seeking was always outside of myself, all of it. The approval, the acceptance, the love, the belonging, the joy, the confidence, the happiness, the worthiness to exist. Addiction was and continues to be a great reflection and healing tool for me as I reframe this will reflect. Addiction for me was living on autopilot in survival mode in my conditioned state of who I thought I was supposed to be but could never achieve. Addiction was the go-to cure for feeling unloved, for escaping the harsh world that I felt I was never good enough to experience as happy and joyful. I lived many years in this state, unconscious, in fear. And I am a spiritual being having this human experience, and it is all part of the plan of expansion and growth. And now my addiction rewrite, my reframe. To say I miss alcohol would be a lie. I do not miss anything about alcohol. The fake feel-good high that is fleeting, the hardcore head-banging headaches and nausea the day after, the internal blame, shame game that went on for the whole next day, usually requiring me to go back to the pub and drink until I didn't feel that anymore. Ugh. No, thank you, ever and ever and ever again. My addiction was really to seeking validation, acceptance, and approval, That was the real issue. I was taught to be better, to be more, to be perfect. Because if I could be perfect, everything would be amazing. And as I've learned, perfection is a lie. Shame is a lie. Although a real emotion, shame is a deep-seated fear and belief that I am bad. It is the lowest of emotions, of all frequency vibrations. And when I say it's a lie, it's because that's the safety place that I knew, and I knew it well. And since I knew that place well, and because it was safe for me, it was where I preferred to live, because it allowed me to avoid what was truly going on inside. The pain, the unbearable pain of not being seen or heard or valued. The day I quit drinking is as vivid in my mind today as it was the day that it happened. And now, 16 years later, I can see with eyes wide open that it was never a safe place for my soul. It was a safe place for my human to hide. I feel that alcohol wasn't the real addiction, though. The real addiction was my need for external validation and approval from everyone around me, from everyone except me. I now know that the only person's approval and validation I require is my own. Not my parents, not my siblings, not my friends, not anyone in my professional world or anyone outside of me. I have grown into knowing that I am the only one on the planet whose opinion matters of me. And that takes guts. That takes courage. That requires my own guidance system to guide me on my path forward and fully trust it. Through my personal journey of healing, I have discovered that my path of addiction was necessary. I had and still have lessons to learn from it. I've been able to look my shame in the eye, sit with it, truly feel it, and give myself what I so desperately needed when I was younger. Attention, approval, belonging, connection, acceptance, forgiveness, unconditional love. My authentic self, my higher self, the soul aspect of me never once judged me for my addiction. That was the conditioning of society that judged me. It has simply sat still, holding the light, witnessing my pain, and allowed me to go through it as I have. I am the champion of my soul. I am the phoenix rising from the ashes over and over again. I am a spiritual being having this human experience. I am whole. I am worthy. I belong. I love and accept myself. I will never be perfect, and I will never be done. I am an eternal energy that is simply here, experiencing life through this physical form. Today, I cultivate courage, laughter, and connection in my present moments, my conscious state of being. It is here that I am free to be me. Shame comes in many ways to teach us just how incredibly worthy we are, simply by existing. Shame no longer controls my life, my relationships, or how I show up. Shame and I will always be good friends, but for now at least, I'm taking the path less traveled, the one where shame is a memory. I invite you to join my workshop October 28th through November 1st, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to get deeper insights about how shame is blocking you from fully, wholeheartedly living authentically.